Documents are everywhere. It can be physical, it can be digital, it can be scattered across your inboxes, drives, filing cabinets, you name it. Now, the real catch here is how efficiently are we managing all of those documents? Now, imagine yourself finding a document from 10 years ago. If you can't find it instantaneously, then there is a problem. Now, I know this might raise a ton of questions into your head, but don't worry, we're here to cut through the clutter. I'm Malaysia. Let's get started. In this episode today, we have Kavendra here with us who is going to pour out his expertise on how to manage your documents right, especially when it comes to organizational space. And together, we will be diving into what's a document management system, what are the benefits around it, why it matters the most to have one, and also on Enadoc, which is a document management system built to face all these challenges head on. So, without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome Kavendra into this episode. Welcome, Kavendra.
Hi, Malaysia. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, Kavendra. So let's jump right in. When it comes to document management, okay, we all agree that we need a system which sums up to a document management system. So, Kavendra, with your expertise, tell us briefly on what actually is a document management system.
Yeah, so document management system or DMS as we should call it. So it's a digital platform that helps organizations to store, manage, retrieve, and track their documents in a secure and organized way.
All right.
So when you look at a document, it actually goes through a life cycle.
Okay.
So first you create the document for a specific business purpose, and then you share the document with the relevant stakeholders to collaborate on it, and maybe do few changes, like share feedback, get approvals, and all that.
Right.
And once all these processes are done, the final step is to send this document for safekeeping for future reference.
Right.
So that's what we call the archival stage of the document.
Right.
So that's where a DMS comes in. So
right.
Our focus is on making sure those completed processed documents are stored in a proper, organized way so that they are safe, easy to find, and ready whenever you need them.
Okay, Kavinder. Now that is very interesting the way you started. Now, can you go ahead and brief us? How does a document management system actually help in managing all these files?
Yeah, so usually these processed finalized documents end up in all sorts of places. Like some documents will end up in your computer, some may end up in your shared folders, emails, and when you need to find that document, then you have to look for all these places.
Of course.
So if they're physical, maybe even in file cabinets.
Yeah.
So instead of having these documents and files all over the place, the DMS has the capability of bringing everything into one centralized, searchable space where it's way more easy to manage.
Right. So you're telling me it's more like a repository where you can keep all your scattered documents in one place.
Exactly.
Oh, right. So, Kavindra, when it comes to a document management system, we just spoke that it's almost like a repository where we can keep all our documents in one place. Now, I couldn't help but think, doesn't our drives and all the other cloud tools does the same too? So, how do you think having our documents in a cloud tool and having a document in a document management system would vary?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Manisha. So it's actually a question that we get asked quite a lot. And so the thing is like, even though these platforms share the file storage capability, these platforms serve different purposes. So platforms like Google Drive, OneDrive, or any other platforms that you're talking about, those are solely built for focusing on basic file sharing and storage.
Okay.
So you can upload your files, maybe have your folders with your team, collaborate on it, and that's all about it.
Right.
But they are not built for more advanced or document archival or managing purposes.
Okay.
So a proper DMS is solely built for more structured, secure, and scalable document handling, especially in an organization that deals with thousands of records, thousands of documents, which requires strict access control, document governance, or have to follow different compliance standards even. So a proper DMS has features to cater these requirements, like various automations, version controlling, access controlling, audit trail, and more to accommodate these requirements.
So, Kavindra, you mean that a document management system is not only going to serve the purpose of just storing the documents and retrieving them on time, but also comes with a pack of features which is more essential when it comes to managing a documents with security and audit trails and versioning controls and all of that. So we are not just going to be talking about documents being stored and retrieved, but there is more to it, right?
Sure.
So Kavinder, there's plethora of document management systems out there. And we also have Enadoc, which is also a document management system. Now, when it comes into a comparison state, why do you think that people should use Enadoc compared to other document management solutions out there?
Yeah, so Enadoc is a purely an index-based system.
Okay.
So most document management solutions out there are folder structured ones. So which means that you have to you have to manually create folders and subfolders, and you have to navigate through them to store and retrieve your documents.
Okay.
So, I mean, being able to create folders and store documents inside of them, like it gives user the impression like, okay, so you can keep your documents in well organized.
Yes.
But the trouble starts when you cannot remember where you have stored your documents.
Yeah.
On daily basis, you have 200 to 500 documents in your PC, right? And you can't remember, you can't keep everything in your mind. You can't remember where you have stored each and every document in your PC.
Yes, of course. I can't even remember what did I store last.
Exactly. So that's where the trouble starts in. So when once you forget where you have stored your document, so then you have to spend a lot of time wasting to search for that particular document.
Yeah.
So imagine that you organize your files and you feel confident and you feel relieved. Okay, so your documents are stored in a well organized way.
Yeah.
And suddenly, few months later, your boss walks in with an urgent matter and he asks for a particular document.
Yes.
And now you can't remember where you have stored that document.
Of course.
So then it's going to put you in a very frustrating situation.
Yes.
So that's the exact issue that we are trying to resolve by using this concept,
right,
that index-based concept.
Okay.
So that's why we have taken a different approach. So instead of folders, every document that you upload into the system will be assigned with a set of keywords.
Right.
So those keywords are what we call indexes.
Right.
So using those indexes, you can easily search and retrieve files without having to worry about where it was stored.
Okay, Kavindra, that is very interesting. This means that I don't have to go by folder and folder. If I know a few index pointers, I should be able to find the document.
Exactly.
And also, when you say the indexers, so this is more like the key details which is in the document itself.
Exactly.
Now, for example, let's say I want to find a document from 10 years ago, which is an invoice from 2015. And in that case, if I had arranged and organized my documents in a way that the main keywords that I want to look for is invoice and 2015, then I should be able to find my documents right away, right?
Exactly. You can have more indexes. You can have the name of the vendor that invoice as an index. So you can have more details. So you can usually use those keywords to locate your document.
Right. Now, Kavindra, when it comes to people, they come in all different personalities. And also, when it comes to documents, it comes in all different formats and types. Now, when it comes to Enadoc, what kind of document formats does Enadoc really support?
Yeah, so Enadoc supports wide range of file formats, especially standard document formats like PDF, Word documents, Excel sheets, PPT, X-files, and especially standard image file formats like JPEG, BMP, TIFF, PNG, and all that. And even though Enadoc is primarily built for handling documents, it's still flexible enough to store any file type that you throw at it, including multimedia files, videos, audio recordings, even. However, since it's mainly designed as a document management system, there might be some limitations when it comes to handling of reading or non-document files such as videos or audio files.
Okay. Okay, now that's amazing. Okay, because you see, all this time I was thinking only documents were being able to put into Enadoc and being easily retrieved. But me coming from a marketing background, I'll have different types of file formats which I handle on a day-to-day basis. Now, I might be making a carousel for LinkedIn, and at the same time, I'm also be creating a video for YouTube. Now, you're telling me there's also possibilities to categorize that and keep it safely in Enadoc so that I can retrieve it whenever I need it, especially in times of critical situations. Now, we might have a lot of audience, Kavindra, who is looking at us and thinking, now, Enodoc sounds like a fantastic product, but they might be also handling with other products on their business workflows. And one of the main questions that might pop in our audience head is Enodoc is workable with whatever we are working right now? So you do understand where I'm leading with this question, and that is integrations. So is there possibilities that we can integrate Enodoc with other already existing systems?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So Enodoc has a proven track record of integrating with diverse array of platforms, including various ERP-based core banking systems, CRMs, and even HRIS platforms and more.
Okay.
And we provide standard APIs to facilitate integration. So as long as the system that you wish to connect with Enodoc supports API-based integration, it's going to be a smooth process.
Perfect, Kavindra. So, which means that Enodoc already has a proven track record of integrations. So, if there is any more to come, then Enodoc is more welcome to take it on. So, Kavindra, when it comes to even the best product in the world, everything sums up into one single question, which grabs all the attention, and that is security. So, when it comes to Enodoc, what kind of security standards does Enodoc possess?
That's a great question. So security is absolutely critical when it comes to managing applications.
Of course.
So to address this issue, we have came up with a concept called hexagonal security.
Okay.
So it covers both passive and active security aspects of the system.
All right.
So passive security it basically includes features like document scoping, which gives the capability of controlling who can see what.
Mm-hmm.
And we have encryption, like every document that you upload into the system will automatically gets encrypted along with the metadata. And we have a security tier, a security level, different layers of protection based on the document sensitivity. And we have permission classes. So permission classes and watermarks. So those two features basically to discourage and prevent unauthorized sharing and access visibility. And with regards to covering the active security aspect, we have things like user authentication, advanced user profiles, and user scoping. So you can restrict access based on the user roles. And we have dynamic redaction, like you can hide certain portions of the document from various user roles.
Okay.
And we have the audit trails, like which tracks every user interaction inside the platform. So it gives you the full visibility and accountability. And we have much more features to ensure that your documents are safe and protected in every step.
So that's very interesting, Kavindra. Now imagine if someone is accessing a document which was originally done by me, I want to make sure what kind of activity they did. And I want to be able to track it. And of course, with an audit trail in Enodoc, that's going to be so simple and so easy. And also at the same time, will make sure that I know and I'm aware of what is really happening to my document. And also, yes, with security levels to each user group, maybe I would have given access to my document to so many different people, but at the same time, I can make sure what kind of activity they can do in the document. If they're allowed to download it, if they're allowed to print it, if they're allowed to make any kinds of edit can be determined by me itself, right? And also you did mention about document redaction, which I think is the best thing because although we give access to certain people to see our documents, there may be certain portions in the document which can be a little bit more sensitive. So we might want to keep that away from them noticing and going ahead and reading. So with redaction, we can make sure that it is being blocked and the rest of the thing is visible for whoever who needs it. So Kavindra, we did speak about the security standards possessed by Enodoc. Now also another thing that also grabs a certain level of attention just like security is the compliance standard. Now, for businesses to adapt into an application like Enodoc, they want to make sure that it complies with all those industrial standards out there. So, when it comes to Enodoc, what are the standards does Enodoc comply with?
Yeah, so Enodoc complies and we align with lots of international standards, especially compliance standards such as GDPR for data protection, and we have ISO 27000 certification, and we are quite aligned with a lot of compliance certification, compliance standards with regards to information security and data protection.
No matter how much of a fantastic tool we have, The final question that we have to ask ourselves is how much are we saving from this tool? So, just like that, now Enodoc sounds like a great product, but what about the ROI? What about the cost savings for someone who possesses Enodoc?
So switching into proper DMS like Enodoc can actually save business a lot more than they realize.
Okay.
So first you can cut down cost associated with physical paper, like printing, physical storage space, and you can save a lot of time, which is just as important because your team isn't wasting a lot of time, a lot of hours searching for a document or chasing the approvals manually.
Of course.
And over time, these small savings adds up to big numbers. So, like many businesses, we see around 30%, 50% reduction in their document-related operational cost within the first year itself after implementing Enodoc.
Yes.
So, plus they get better security and compliance, and they will be able to avoid risk like various data losses, fines, or even business disruptions, like things that could cost way more in the long run.
Right. So, Kavindra, when you said 30 to 50%, that is just in the first year of implementing Enodoc.
Exactly.
Wow. Okay. And also, let's not forget about just like you mentioned, I'm sure there are most organizations out there which are still handling all their documents in paper format. And I'm sure that documents will be from decades ago and there will be a separate storage space to store all these documents also, which I'm sure if a document management system like Enodoc was implemented, all those paper documents can be digitized and put into a digital format while you can take this storage space for something better.
Exactly.
So, Kavindra, in this episode of ours today, I'm sure among our audience there'll also be startups. All right. So, one of the common questions when it comes to startup is, are we ready for a system like DMS? Or are we too small to get into a system like Enodoc to manage all our documents? So, Kavindra, with your expertise, what kind of advice would you love to give the startups out there?
Yeah, so I would encourage them to look at the speed of change happening right now.
Yeah.
So the world is moving incredibly fast, and almost every industry, every organization is rapidly shifting away from those older, boring, manual paper-based ways of doing things.
Yes. Yes.
And some businesses may feel, okay, so they are too small or not quite ready for a system like this.
Of course.
But the thing is, like, for instance, now let's take a startup for an example.
Okay.
So in the beginning, they may start small, but
Yeah.
moving forward, like 5 10 years later, it's not going to be a startup anymore.
Of course. Now, I think by the time they start, maybe they might be handling with like say 10 to 20 pages of document. But then in the long run, like 5 years, that could be increase in numbers.
Exactly. So they will end up with a bigger pile of papers, which could be difficult to manage. And that's why this digital transformation isn't really optional anymore for anyone. So if you want to stay competitive and relevant in today's markets, it doesn't matter whether you're a large corporation or SME or growing business, you absolutely need to start moving in that direction.
Of course. Speaking about moving into a completely digital era, I can't stop thinking about AI, which is now a bigger talk of the town, Kavindra. Now, to finish our final question, I want to know, and I'm very curious to know too, does Enodoc has AI in it? Which I'm sure, like if you say yes, our audience would go crazy about it. So tell us, Kavindra, does Enodoc has AI?
Yeah, so we are also entering the AI era.
Oh, right? Wow.
So everyone's talking about AI. The thing is, like, if your business is digital, you can't really take the advantage of the AI.
Yeah.
So to use AI properly, your systems, your data, everything, your workflows need to be digitized.
Of course.
So when it comes to AI, like as you know, so we are like so every company, every organization is now looking into integrate AI into their products.
Yes, you go to LinkedIn and open the page. Every product now talks about we have generative AI.
Exactly. So in that in terms of AI, we are not different. Right? We are already started this journey with Enodoc.
Right.
So our vision is to take Enodoc to the next level by making it a truly intelligent document management and archival platform powered by AI. And right now we are actively working on a couple of exciting features.
Okay.
So we have developed an AI-powered search,
okay,
which will make the document retrieval much smarter and more intuitive.
Right.
And we are also building an AI-based auto indexing feature. So where doc can automatically extract and assign metadata into the documents, which is capable of saving users a lot of time and reducing manual effort. Like previously, users have to manually enter indexes and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
So by using this feature, we can automate that. And that's just the beginning. And we have more exciting AI-driven enhancements lined up in our roadmap. And we can talk about them in a separate video, I guess.
Of course, Kavindra. And when you said that these two cool AI features in Enodoc is AI document indexing and AI document search, now I'm very excited for the next videos too, because just imagine when you said that Enodoc is an index based system, we also can't neglect the fact that every single key details about the document has to be manually placed. Now this can be one to hundreds of documents out there, so having something like an AI indexer within the document management system itself is going to be so much beneficial, because the AI is going to index a document for us and it's going to search the document for us too. But you know what, Kavindra? I'm going to contain my curiosity and then put it into a separate video where you and me will be talking into how this AI features in Enodoc is going to work. But let's not also forget, we actually just only spoke about Enodoc. We didn't really show our audience what Enodoc it really is and how it looks like. So, people, this will lead us to another episode where me and Kavindra will be showing you a demo of how to work with Enodoc. So stay tuned with us. Until then, it's me and Kavindra signing off. Bye.